Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into your SPL class with Matloob Ilahi. I hope you are doing well and you have a wonderful day. This is Matloob Ilahi, your SPL course leader. So, first of all, I would like to introduce myself. I have been teaching this paper, SPL and Advanced Performance Management, which are the two core my strength papers for last more than 12 years. And how much I love these two papers, you will experience this, my passion, my love, and my, you can say, passion to learn and share all those learning and knowledge with my students. Beside this, I'm working also in sustainable finance field as well. So this course is going to become one of the best experience for you as well. Not only to help you pass the SPL exam, but also to learn and know about the latest developments which are happening in the business and economy around the globe. Request you to introduce yourself as well. So we can start with Kritika. Hi, Kritika. Good afternoon.
I'm joining Hamzah Academy for the SBL exam. Well, I have a degree in accounting minor finance at the University of Mauritius. Thus, I have obtained exemption for the 7 papers. And last year, I completed my level 2 papers. So SBL is my first paper for level 3. And I've decided to join Hamzah Academy because level 3 papers require a more guided and disciplined approach, because the 2 papers that I've completed last year was based on self-learning.
Well done. Very good. Thank you very much for this comprehensive introduction. And what you expect from this class?
Well, SBL is a theoretical, and it requires a comprehensive understanding of the various concepts. So that's why I've decided to join this class, to have a better understanding of the various concepts and to be able to practice papers and receive constructive feedback from you, to be able to excel this paper on my first sitting.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you. Definitely we will do our best. Perfect. Thanks a lot. Now I would request Yashdev. Hi, Yashdev.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hogbal Yashdev. I'm currently working at the State Trading Corporation. This is my second time learning with Hamzah Academy. I previously did my audit and assurance paper with Mr. Hamzah himself. That's it. Yes.
Perfect. Amazing. All right. So what you are expecting from this course?
Yeah, so I'm basically looking forward to pass the paper in the first attempt itself.
Sure. Definitely. We will be doing our best. Thanks a lot. Next, I would request Sudha. Hi, Sudha.
Hello, sir. Hi, everyone. I'm Sudha Bhuwani. I recently did accounting and finance at university, and it's my first time doing ACCA level 3, and I was exempted from level 1 and level 2. So I hope I pass the SBL paper during my first attempt.
Thanks. Sure. We will be doing our best.
Thank you.
Perfect. Next, I would request Vashish. Hi, Vashish. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Vashish. I am from Mauritius, and I started my ACCA as soon as I finished school. And this is my first time actually doing a course with Hamzah Academy. And yeah.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. And this first time you are attempting SBL as well?
Yes, sir. This is the first time attempting SBL.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Vashish. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, I will request Dharu. Hi, Dharu. I hope I'm pronouncing right.
Hello, this is Devina. Actually, I'm using my husband's profile, so next time I'll be downloading on my profile.
No problem.
So this is Devina. Devina. Oh, I'm from Mauritius. Oh, this is my first time with Hamzah Academy. So I've got good feedback from my sister. So she has got colleagues who has been using Hamzah Academy as too. So I'm looking forward to attempting a pass with the first time attempt itself. So this is my target for this paper.
Perfect. Amazing. Thanks a lot for introduction, and definitely we will be doing our best. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, request Muhammad. Hello, Muhammad. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. This is Muhammad Nifas. So I think we already know each other because when you were in Mauritius, so I studied, I think, performance management with you, and I also passed the first attempt itself. So that's why I'm opting to do the SBL exam with you. And also, as regards to my ACCA, I already did a P1, P2, P3 in the past, but unfortunately, I had to take a pause of at least around 3-4 years. But now those papers have expired, so unfortunately, I need to redo the SBL and SBO papers. So that's why I'm opting to do it with you, and I do believe that I will pass it at the first attempt. So.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for coming and joining us again. Thanks a lot. And we will be doing our best. And thanks a lot for your amazing experience and studying with me previously.
Thank you, sir.
And next I would request Madina. Hi, Madina. Good afternoon. Okay. Next, I would request Umar. Hello, Umar. Good afternoon.
Hello, sir. I'm Umar Jumka, and this is my second time actually with Hamzah Academy. Initially, I did the audit paper with Mr. Hamzah itself, and I passed at the first attempt. And also for the SBL paper, I got good feedback from you, from your previous student. That's why I chose to do the paper with you.
Amazing. All right. Thank you very much, Umar. Thank you a lot. And I must be thankful to your friends as well who refer you to join us. Thanks a lot. And I hope I will be able to deliver all those according to your expectations, or I will be doing my best to deliver more than that. So,
inshallah.
Thanks a lot, everyone, for your amazing introduction. And now we are going to start this paper with a little bit discussion of the business world and the shifting landscape in the economy. There is a lot happening, and I believe you are aware of that as well. There is a lot, literally. The business and the economic situation today is not same as it was, I would say, 1 year back or 2 years back or 3 years back. I'm not comparing with the last 10 years or 20 years. I'm just saying just 1, 2, 3. Or we can compare this with pre-COVID situation. The world, the business world, the economic situation before COVID was, and now there is big difference. Okay. And when these all things are changing, these are impacting the business strategy as well. These are impacting everything that we do. These are impacting supply chains. These are impacting the business models. And then we are going to discuss all these factors, by the way, which are shaping the subject of business strategy and the leadership and all these. So these developments in the business and economy has direct impact on this paper as well. Because when SBL was introduced first, it was introduced, the idea was that to give a more comprehensive understanding about the practical things or the practical situations which are happening in the business and economy. Okay, so this paper is not theoretical. This paper is more practical. Okay, for example, you would be asked to write a press article, or you would be asked to write a press report, or you would be asked to write a press memo for the media. Why? Because your company is facing a kind of criticism. And this is the today's world. Every company, whether that is a small company or whether that is a large company, every business is facing a different type of scenarios and challenges. And this is what I love to keep myself updated. This is what I love to learn about how businesses, how the big businesses. We can talk about the world or the biggest companies. For example, we can talk about Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Meta, Facebook, or we can talk about the other different industries, for example, in auto industry, in cement industry, steel industry, construction. We can talk about technology industry. We can talk about electronics. We can talk about home furnishing, retailers, green energies, supply chains. And so this course, as I told you, is going to have amazing experience for you. Not only that, we will prepare for our SBL exam, but also this course is going to offer you amazing opportunity to develop a lot of new things about what is happening and how businesses are responding towards these changing landscape. Okay, so first of all, let's have a quick discussion of what are the key factors which are shaping, which are changing the business strategy and the economy today. So I am starting, first of all, the two themes, the broad themes, which are shaping the business and economy. So these are two. The biggest one are, first of all, this is sustainability issues. Sustainability. Now we are seeing every company is under pressure. Every company is under pressure. Even in Mauritius, you might have seen that how the companies are now under pressure to measure, to report, to cut their footprints, to become more net zero. You might have heard about this term, net zero, or net positive, or carbon positive companies. So whether these are energy companies, whether these are like packaging companies, whether these are like construction, whether these are plastic, whether these are wood, whether these are forest, like any company, whether that is a service business or that's a manufacturing business, whether that is a public business, public sector or the private sector, every organization is now under pressure to measure. They are under pressure to measure. They are under pressure to report their emissions. Okay, you might be working in the field of green finance. So this is a new era of accounting and finance. Yes, my dear, accounting has entered into a new era, and this era is now, you can call this as a green accounting or green finance. You can call this climate finance or the climate accounting. You can call this ESG. You can call this sustainable finance. You can call this clean finance, whatever term you want to use. But welcome to a new era of accounting and finance. Okay. Why I am so excited about all these developments? Because the old traditional models, the old traditional processes, the old traditional conventional way of dealing with finance are shifting. And now we are embracing with the new challenges. Okay, so first of all, this is sustainability factor that is shaping the accounting and finance and the strategies of the organizations. Companies are increasingly investing in green projects. Okay, finance providers, whether these are banks or insurance companies, they are under pressure to have their targets. So we are having now new type of objectives or targets, for example. Okay, objectives or targets that companies are facing. I maybe the organization in which you are working, your organization might also have their own emission targets, for example, emission reduction targets. Okay, so whether you are dealing with the emissions or whether you are dealing with the water, for example, or whether there is a waste or whether there is energy consumption or whether there are chemicals or whether there are materials, whatever, companies are under pressure to report. Okay, business organizations are under pressure to measure. That's why we are seeing measure and report. But this is not the end of the story. Not only the companies and business organizations are under pressure to measure and report, but now there are new challenges are coming. And these new challenges are about their transparency. Transparency, like how transparent, for example, if one company claimed that, hey, we have reduced our emissions by 5% less comparison to 2020. So one can say, what is the proof of this? How would you justify this? How would you prove that you have 5% reduction in your emissions? Okay, so there are new challenges are coming in transparency. Traceability is now a new normal. Traceability. That's why there are new technologies are emerging. New tech platforms are emerging. And these new tech platforms are helping companies to measure and report and share, because with the help of these new platforms, they offer trust. Trust in data. Yes, my dear. Trust in data. And this can be shared within supply chain. For example, I have been dealing with a lot of cases. For example, we can talk about Levi's, let's say. Levi's or another company we can say like Nike or Adidas. These are one of the world largest companies in their segments, or we can talk about Inditex brand Zara, and one more example like H&M. So Levi's, Adidas, Nike, Zara, H&M, all these are one of the biggest companies, understand? And they are under pressure. The reason? Fast fashion. You might have heard about the problems of fast fashion. How fast fashion are so these companies are under pressure. Now imagine these companies don't get their manufacturing in Western countries. For example, Levi's denim. Where is the Levi's denim is manufactured? It's all their supply chains. Their supply chains, you might be aware, even in Mauritius, there is a high-end textile garments are produced, for example, for Polo or Tommy Hilfiger. But supply chains, like mostly their supply chains are where? In developing countries. Developing countries. Understand? So developing countries, where are the developing countries? One of the biggest garments manufacturers, Bangladesh or China or India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or you can go more toward the Eastern, for example, Laos or Cambodia or the Vietnam is one of the largest. Vietnam, you might have heard about that. Vietnam has one of the biggest industry in the like shoes and in polyester. So these companies are under pressure. That's why you are seeing that how these companies are changing their marketing now. Their marketing has shifted. Marketing messages has shifted. They are more focused that we are using now recyclable materials. You might have seen, if you have bought some products from these companies, they say that, hey, we are using recyclable cotton, recycle polyester, we are using recycle wool, we are using recycle other different types of materials. So this is now just a beginning. This is not going to end. Okay, not going to end. So the point is that this factor, the sustainability factor, is shaping the strategy of the organizations. So SBL paper, you can expect in the SBL paper, because SBL paper is so broad and so integrated that not only about integrated reporting, you can be asked about integrated reporting, you can be asked about the board of directors, you can be asked about the strategy change, you can be talk about change management, you can be talk about project management, you can be talk about information technology, you can be talk about investment, appraisal. So every topic of SBL paper, every topic of SBL paper can be connected with these themes, can be connected with these themes. Okay, for example, you can be asked that there is an NPV, positive NPV or negative NPV of a project, green finance project. So do you think the business should go ahead with this project or not? Okay, SBL is practical paper. SBL is not theoretical paper. Many of my students, like in this class as well, those who are going to study SBL first time, they might be thinking that this paper might be continuity of the last previous P3 paper or P1 paper. No. This is a complete different thing. This is a complete different product. This is a complete different project that you have to prepare for. SBL is a very interesting paper, very interesting. It has the opportunity to teach you so many things, okay? But again, this is a practical paper. Okay, so the first factor that I have discussed with you is about sustainability. Number two factor that you also need to know is now everyone around the world is like, especially the like business and economy I'm talking about, is technology developments. Tech developments. What is new? In 2023 was year of AI. 2023, 2024, we have seen. Both years we have seen, even in 2024, I would say, that 2024 was the massive shift in the landscape of the AI. Artificial intelligence, how the AI is used, using the data, using the large language models and training the algorithms. So whether there is a small business or whether there's a large business, whether there's a small, just a small business, for example, you can think of, I have met with small businesses. For example, I was talking to like clinics, dental clinic. Imagine a dental clinic that is, imagine, with just 3 or 4 staff members, is thinking, the CEO is thinking to introduce, to explore use of AI. Why? Because that clinic, I was talking to the guy, how they can use AI. So these are just, I have given you small business examples. I have been talking to many other small businesses as well. Now we can talk about large. So imagine large businesses. Which large business? For example, you can think of like textile mill, a textile factory, for example, or another large business you can think of, for example, a tire manufacturer, an electronics manufacturer, a chocolate manufacturer, chocolate maker, a coffee maker, a pencil maker, a stationery maker, a furniture maker, for example, IKEA. You might have heard about IKEA, that how the IKEA is exploring AI use because they have the data. So they can train their algorithms using that data for prediction, for forecasting, for planning, for control, for cost reduction, for better profitability, for developing new business models, for developing new business services, and a lot we can discuss. So this was the area of technology developments. And on the one side, just I have discussed a small part of the technology developments, and that is the AI. But when this is developing, you can think of the other problems that have started emerging as well. Okay, more use of cloud, and these are important topics in the SBL syllabus as well. Okay, cloud, technology developments, and AI, and all these related, for example, machine learning or the data analytics. So being a finance professional, now this is not something option. This is compulsory thing now. Being finance professional, being an accounting professional, you need to update yourself with what are the latest developments happening in the fields of tech and how it is disrupting, because finance is disrupting. Finance is disrupted. Okay, this is technology. New softwares, new platforms are emerging. For example, whether you talk about insurance, whether you talk about investments, whether you talk about savings, whether you talk about lending, you talk about retirement, you talk about all these, the finance industry is going through the massive disruptions. Understand? So this is the second theme which is impacting the business and economy. Number three, we can talk about the latest thing which are happening are supply chain disruptions. Supply chain disruptions. Okay. For example, you might have heard about the trade wars between the China and US, or the Western countries and the China. Okay, how this is shaping. Every other day, we are seeing new developments which are happening, and things are becoming more and more complicated, not easier. Okay, for example, if one country, or like in Europe, for example, if they put ban, or if they put tariffs, for example, you might have heard about this beautiful word, tariffs. You might have heard in the news and the media in the last couple of months since Trump has won. Okay, so tariffs, like Western countries, they are planning to put tariffs on Chinese EV, for example. Chinese EVs, electric vehicles. And China is now planning to put tariffs on the US food manufacturers, Australian food manufacturers, okay, French brandy. You might have heard about the French brandy. The Chinese authorities have put tariffs on that. So who is going to affect? For example, imagine if you are a farmer that grow like juices, that grow grains, that grows cereals, that grow milk, that grow any other food in Australia, in New Zealand, in UK, in France, in Netherlands, in Germany, in US. You are a grain farmer, okay? And you export, for example, soy, for example, or you can talk about other stuff like, for example, the canola oil, let's say, for example, or the cotton, because every commodity is under pressure because of these new normal. These are the tariffs. Understand? One country is putting tariff on the other country, and other country is putting in retaliation retaliation to the other countries. So new shifts are emerging. New shifts. So what is happening now? How to avoid tariffs? Do you know what is happening? How to avoid tariffs? How are companies responding to new normal? New normal. Another factor that you might have, for example, the Ukraine-Russia war. As a result, all the Western companies had to pull out of the Russian market, for example. Okay, for example, the Russian market, for example. All the Western companies. You can find out there are even websites that can give you the detail of all those companies that have pulled out of the Russian market. So when Russian market, they pulled out, new space emerged for new companies. For example, Chinese companies, they came to fill that space. Understand? Similarly, like another new normal that we're talking about, for example, tariffs. So how companies are, for example, like Toyota, that is, or Honda, okay, that is manufacturing in Mexico, for example. And now the Trump says that we are going to put tariffs on anything that is coming to US borders. Okay, there might be exceptions, but especially the auto sector, the steel plants, for example, the steel which is made in Canada or which is made in the Mexico, or which is manufactured in China, or which is manufactured in any other country, is subject to tariffs. Why? Because now the countries are protection. This is called protectionism. Protectionism means to protect your local industries. So for like how Honda would respond to these tariffs. This is not just Honda. I can give you example of the BMW as well. I can give you the example of the Volkswagen as well. How they are investing, pledging, promising, investing in US market. Because if they export, if they manufacture in any other country and export to US, there might be tariffs. So in order to protect themselves, because US is one of the biggest markets in the world in terms of the consumption, so they would be investing in the US itself. They would like to manufacture in US. So this is new strategy. Imagine we were talking about globalization. We have talked a lot about globalization from 1990 till 20. You can say, okay, I'm like 2018 or 2016, let's say 2016. Okay, or 2020. 2020. But now there are new trends are emerging. Do you know that during the globalization era, when there was a lot of globalization, we have seen new trends emerged. For example, what were those new trends? For example, offshoring. Even Mauritius has been like having advantage of this offshoring, okay, because of the dual language and because of the qualified and skilled and competent people, okay. So offshoring, this like offshoring and outsourcing industries has been booming, okay, whether that was manufacturing or that was services. When we talk about manufacturing, the biggest winner was winners was China. And when it comes to service industry, especially the IT and back office, that was India. Like you may know that India's service industry, especially the IT industry in the back office and the software industry, more than $100 billion of exports in just back office, and all the companies, IT companies, big companies, small, large, they have their back offices in India. Understand? So they were the biggest winners of all this. And offshoring, outsourcing, we have seen all this. But now there is now the things are changing now. Okay, there is an anti-globalization movement is going on. Anti-globalization movement. Increasingly, countries are now prioritizing local production. That's why we are now seeing new trends. And these all things have started in the last couple of years. For example, you might have heard the new terms such as onshoring. This is now opposite to offshoring, onshoring, or nearshoring, or friendshoring. That we need to de-risk. This is a new term that we have seen, de-risking. De-risking. You might have heard this term, supply chains. De-risking means we need to move out our supply chains, or we need to cut or reduce our dependence on one country, let's, for example, China. And we need to move some part of production, some part of our supply chains and other components and raw materials to some other countries which are near to us, which are friend to us, or which are more allied to us. Okay, so the point is that, as I told you, that we are seeing a new world of business and economy, as I told you. So these are just 3 things I have shared with you. And there are a lot of other drivers as well, but because I also have to discuss other topics of the SBL as well today's class. So these are the 3 major trends. If I give you a little quick discussion of other trends which are also shaping the business and economy landscape. For example, you can see the consumers, for example. The trust in businesses is also falling. Trust in businesses, because this is about responsible businesses. Trust is falling. Increasingly, people, consumers, public, they are becoming more suspicious about the business. So there is a need for responsible business practices, need for more responsible business practices in this new era in which now we are facing. Okay, I'm not talking about CSR. CSR is a very small area. CSR was the term that has been more used during the 90s, but now we are talking about responsible business practices, whether the business is whether that is about supply chains, whether that is about the using resources. Okay, now we are seeing rise in demand for responsible business practices. Okay, is there any question so far? Any question? Is there any question? Have you got some little idea about how the business and economy landscape is shifting? You got it?
Yes, a bit.
Sir.
Very good. Perfect. And my voice is also very clear, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, good. Amazing. And by the way, one more thing that I must share with you, that my teaching style is very much participatory style. I encourage my students to ask questions. I encourage my students to be in discussion. Okay, I encourage my students to explore and push their boundaries of their knowledge, their understanding. And this is only possible when we are in two-way of communication. When we engage in two-way of communication, this helps a lot. But on the other side, if just I am speaking, it would help little, okay? Because, and by the way, this is an online class, and it's a very easy to drift away in online classes if we are not, although I try my very best to keep my classes very interesting, very lively, very interactive. But on the other side, I also expect my students as well to ask questions, to participate in discussions. And this is the way we can make this subject, we can make this paper, we can make this course lively, interesting, and more interactive. So please make sure you ask questions. Okay, more questions you will ask, more discussions, opportunities will be there, and more you will be learning from each other. Okay, so far I have given you just a quick summary of how things are shifting in the business and economy landscape. Okay, and SBL paper, as I told you earlier, that SBL paper can test, SBL paper can ask, SBL paper can set a question related to anything that we have discussed, in whether this is a sustainability, whether that's an ESG, whether that is about the other issues, for example, reputation issues, whether that is about supply chain problems, whether that's about ethical issues, whether that is about responsible business practices, whether that is about, the examiner has so many opportunities and options to test these topics. Okay, so we have to keep in mind that SBL paper is very, very practical paper. Okay, now let's have a quick look at the SBL syllabus and the main capabilities that you can expect from this, or the SBL main areas. So section A of the paper is about the leadership. Section B is about the governance. Section C is about the strategy. Section D is about the risk. E is about technology and data analytics. F is about organizational control and audit. G is about finance in planning and decision making. And H is about innovation, performance excellence, and change management. So these 8 sections, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, 8 sections are the knowledge areas. Okay. These are all knowledge areas that you need to learn your knowledge. And then there is I section, that's about the professional skills, the 5 skills that you need to learn. That's a part of your paper, because knowledge areas, there are 80% or 80 marks are for this one, and 20 marks are for professional skills. Okay, there are 5 professional skills that you can expect in the paper. These are analysis, this is evaluation, skepticism, commercial acumen, and communication. We will discuss all these later, but there are 5 skills that you need to learn and are part of the paper. And then there is a section J. Section J is more about your financial know-how, financial learning, computer literacy, employability, and technology skills. For example, like use of softwares, as we are increasingly now relying on softwares, we are increasingly relying on information systems. We are using more and more like computers and all that. So you need to prepare yourself for all this. For example, like in your SBL paper, you know that you will be using the Microsoft, the word processor, or you will be using the spreadsheets. The purpose is that you should be familiar with all that how to write a report, okay? How to write a report. That is part of the use of this is employability skill. Okay, use of how to write a report, how to write a memo, how to write a press article, how to write an email, how to write a press note, how to write the investment appraisal and all that, investment strategy and all that. So these are all that is required at business or required at job. Understand? So basically, this is all about like 8 sections are part of the syllabus. Then there are 1 section, the 20 marks for the 5 skills, and then the employability skills. And in this course, you will have the opportunity to learn all these part of this package. Okay, now let's quickly go through different sections of the syllabus, different sections. First of all, there is section A of the syllabus, and the area is about the leadership. What is leadership, or what you can expect in this from the, or what type of areas can be tested in the SBL paper, for example, qualities of the leadership. Qualities of the leadership. Who is the best leader? Now, you can expect a question in the SBL paper on like the style of the leadership, for example. Style of leadership. Okay, I can give you a quick scenario. For example, if a company is facing the falling revenue, if a company is losing market share, if a company is facing the challenge, its a stock value is falling, okay, its revenue is shrinking, its cost is going up, and the company need the business need a strategic change. Do you know, when we use word strategic change, that means that the business need to bring a big change in the organization. So we need to know that which leader is the best. Okay, and when we talk about the leadership at SBL, you can expect this is about chairman. This is about the CEO. This is about the CFO. This is about the chief marketing officer, chief finance officer. This can be about chief technology officer, chief data officer, chief information system officer. These type of or chief sustainability officer, CSO, CMO, CDO, CISO, okay, CFO, all these different type of, so here, strategic change. So the role of leader, whether the leader has the competence, whether the leader has the ability, whether the leader has experience, whether the leader has the enough, you can say, past records to manage this. Because when we talk about strategic change, this change can be related to change in strategy of the organization, change in strategy. And when we talk about change in strategy, this is not something simple. This is not something small. For example, a company might be struggling in its existing markets and it needs a new strategy. This, you can also call this, for example, like turnaround strategy. Turnaround strategy. Turnaround strategy word we use when a business is facing bigger challenges. For example, the declining quality, declining market share, declining revenue, rising customers, complaints, and all that. If this type of situation happening, okay, the business may need a serious strategy. So you need to ask question whether this existing board, existing CEO has the ability. Okay, you need to ask question. CEO or COO, like Chief Operating Officer, do they have experience? Do they have the knowledge? Do they have the acumen? Okay, acumen means understanding. Do they have the acumen? Do they have the track record of managing such change? Or they have been able to, or they have been working in such environment? That also. So there are a lot of things that we need to consider, and SBL paper can test your all these knowledge. Okay, this is about qualities of leadership. Now we can talk next about the leadership and organization culture. What is culture? Do you know? Have you heard this very interesting and famous quote? Have you heard that culture eats strategy in the, guess what? I can give you options. In the breakfast, in the lunch, or in the dinner? What is the right option? Challenge, quiz. What is right option? Culture eats a strategy in. What is right option? Quick. It's a famous quote. Check it online.
Breakfast.
You can. Huh?
Breakfast.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That culture eats strategy in the breakfast. Thank you. Thank you, Umar. What that means? That means that if culture is not supportive to the strategy would not be succeeded. So this is very important. We use a word called alignment. Alignment. Alignment means that whether the culture of the organization is aligned with the new strategy of the organization or not. So imagine if an organization is planning a big change, whether that change is about change in technology or change in operations or change in processes or change in strategy. So the culture is not supportive, then there would be bigger problems. So it is important to make sure that culture is supportive. Understand, here is the role of the CEO and plus team of plus executive team, the role of executive team, how they align all this. And what is culture? Culture is not just a one thing. Culture consists of tangible and intangible things. For example, culture consists of stories, what people talk about. Culture consists of routines. Culture consists of rituals. Culture consists of your heroes. Culture consists of your structures, controls, and a lot of other different components which are part of the culture. As I told you, that culture is culture is not something that you can change straight away. Culture also exists in the minds of the people in the organization as well. So culture is tough thing. Culture is not easy thing. Culture is complicated. So who would influence culture? Influence. You need to find out your right leader who has the right mindset, who can make sure that we need to change stories. Why? Because new strategy requires new stories. We need to change routines. Why? Because our new strategy require new routines. We need to change rewards. We need to change structure. We need to change the controls and everything in the organization. Okay, so culture is not easy thing, as I told you. And yes, culture is also about behaviors. And do you know, behaviors are about habits. And habits develop over time, it develops over routines. So if you are going to change the culture of the organization, you need to change routines and habits. And this is not easy. The reason, because habits are not developed instantly. Habits develop over a long period of time. And if a person, for example, like if a person has been working on a machine, okay, like experience, a person has like 20 years of experience on working a machine. And now you tell, hey, tomorrow we are going to change this machine. We are going to replace this machine. Hey, tomorrow we will have a new process. We will have a new machine. What do you think? What you can expect from that person? Shock? Okay? Protest? Or something else? This is, change is painful. Change is not easy. So here, very interesting, you will be learning about the role of the leadership in process change, project change, strategy change, overall the role of the leadership towards taking the organization. Even today, as I told you earlier, that we are living in the 2025. So leaders need to be more integrated. So what are the qualities? What do you think? The qualities of leaders in 2025. They need to have empathy. You might have heard this word, empathy. They need to have the ability to connect. They should need to have the ability to engage. They need to have the ability to communicate. They need to have the ability to offer equal opportunities. Equity is very important. Equity. There should be equal opportunities for all when there is a change. Okay? There should be empathy. There should be integrated or inclusive. We can use word inclusive approach. And there are many other qualities of the leadership which are required in 2025. So this topic, leadership, is becoming very interesting. Becoming interesting. On the one side, interesting, but on the other side, for the leaders, it is becoming more challenging as well. Okay, very interesting. We will discuss this in detail more and more over our classes next. Okay, next topic is about professionalism, ethical codes, and the public interest. So here you will be learning about the ACCA Code of Ethics. You will be learning about the different ethical issues and the ethical, like the risks to the professional values and all that you will be learning here. And the safeguards to the ethical threats. What are the ethical threats, okay, for the finance if you are in different position, and how to safeguard and protect those threats. You will be learning all this here. Okay, next is section B, governance. So what you are going to learn here, first of all, you need to learn the idea of agency. What is agency relationship, or what is agency theory? When we talk about agency, agency is about the like the relationship between the agent and the principal. So who are the agent and who are the principal? Who are the principal? Agents are the management. You know about the separation of ownership and control in the corporation, in the listed companies, because in listed companies, the managers are not owners, and owners cannot be the managers. They need to appoint someone, and those someone would be the agents. Okay, so the point here is when there is agency, there would be problems. That is called agency problem. What that means? The agents may put their interest first. The agents may put their personal interest, personal gain first. They might put short-term gains. They might be emphasizing on more their personal wealth their personal value maximization rather than their principal value maximization. I can give you one example. Let's say today we're talking about sustainable growth, for example. Sustainable growth is a long-term growth. But what if they are making short-term decisions? What are short-term decisions? There are a lot of examples, recent examples I can give you of short-term examples. You might have seen how the Boeing company, in the like aviation industry, in the aeroplane manufacturing, there are two largest companies that makes planes. They are Boeing and Airbus. Airbus is a European company that has facilities in Toulouse, France, and the Boeing is American company. And Boeing is going through struggling phase, a lot of issues. You might have heard that the like the 737 Max, 737 Max of Boeing that caused like few accidents. There were some incidents, and then there were quality related issues in the 737 Max, and a lot of airlines grounded their planes, and lot other happened. Okay, then there were issues about quality, production problems, supply chain issues, suppliers problems, customers, and then employees. Boeing has been having very tough. You can read about this. Okay, difficult times for Boeing. Same case is with Nike as well. Nike also going through difficult times. Okay, the reason because of their mistake in their strategy shift. And there are many other companies as well. For example, Intel, once one of the largest companies in chips manufacturing, and now the Intel is facing problems. Intel market value has fallen, and now as comparison to those companies that were just a fraction of the value of Intel has got $1 trillion valuation. I'm talking about NVIDIA. You may be aware of NVIDIA. That NVIDIA today is now becoming or have become leader in microprocessors or chip manufacturing. Chip design, sorry. Because manufacturing is done by the TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. But in chip design, that is NVIDIA. Okay, so you know about Intel. You know about the famous Intel processors that has been used in the laptops we have been using, purchasing in last so many years. We have been like their Intel 3, Intel 5, Intel 7, and all those, and now NVIDIA. So what happened? What went wrong with these once biggest companies in the world, Boeing, Nike, Intel? What happened? What went wrong? This topic is called drift. And now the analysts are asking question that whether the Boeing will be able to make a bounce back, whether Intel will be able to make a bounce back. Understand? These are the new. I am not giving you examples of Nokia because Nokia is now old example. I am giving you examples from 2024. This is the latest. The winners and losers are new now. Winners and losers are different in this new era. Okay, and yeah, one more example I must add, and that is Volkswagen. Have you heard about the Volkswagen or the Volkswagen? How the Volkswagen is facing challenges? Have you heard? Have you seen in the news? Anyone? Have you heard in the news about the Volkswagen? Hello?
No.
Read about it. That how the Volkswagen is closing its factories. It is laying off thousands of its workers and other lot of problems the Volkswagen is facing. So 4 companies that I have shared with you now, these are the classic examples that how the business landscape is shifting and how you need to keep your strategies updated. So point is, now we are talking about agency. When short-term decisions are made, when the focus is on short-term benefits, it would hurt, it would affect, it would damage the organization in long term. And unfortunately, these companies made short-term decisions. Okay, but in the Volkswagen, the case is different because Volkswagen, one of the biggest companies in auto manufacturing in the world, and Volkswagen was unable to. The problem with the Volkswagen was that Volkswagen was unable to adapt. So Volkswagen case is very interesting and very different, that it was unable to adapt. Okay, this is the case of adaptability. Okay, this is the clear case of adaptability. It is failure because it kept manufacturing the diesel engines or conventional engines, conventional cars. And in the last, since Tesla was introduced in 2008, imagine like how the Tesla changed the landscape in the auto industry, because Tesla is just 2008 company and Volkswagen has more than 100 years of the in business. Not just only Volkswagen, all the leading auto manufacturers, all leading auto companies, whether that is GM, whether that is Ford, whether that is Chrysler, whether that is even Honda, that is Mitsubishi, whether that is the like Nissan, okay, whether you talk about the French Peugeot or these companies, all Renault, Peugeot, or all these companies, they are going through difficult times. Reason? Because the world is shifting. Yes, Mohammed?
So thank you. Is it true that Honda, Toyota, and Nissan are merging together? I think I've.
The merger is happening between Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi. Toyota is not in the part of that merger. Toyota, Toyota has been able to retain its market leader. Even today, the Toyota is a leader, but as the world is shifting heavily towards the EVs, so let's see in the future. But right now, Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi, they are merging, and that's interesting. Thank you, Mohammed. In SPL, you can expect a question on this type of merger, that when the industry is going through transformation, industry is going through the massive shift. You talk about Chinese like automakers. So do you know that Chinese EV makers, they are now leading in this industry? That is very interesting. Why? As I told you that I'm very excited about these latest business developments. The reason is, what is the reason why I am so excited? As I told you, this is a new world, okay? all the theories of the competition that we have learned earlier, for example, you will be learning about Porter 5 forces and all that. Business theories, business dynamics are changing so fast that winners or the biggest companies of yesterday, they are facing challenges today. If you look at for example, 100 largest companies in the world, 100, this is Forbes, like, for example, 100 largest companies in the world. And then you check it in 2000, 2010, and 2020, and now this is 2025. So imagine just in last 25 years, how much change has happened. That is, you can say, unprecedented shifts are happening. Winners, losers. And this is not just about companies, because I also research in the regions as well, not just businesses, even cities, I can tell you, even regions and countries, economies, they are also going through massive shift. For example, those companies, countries, those regions, those cities of the world that rely and dependent on conventional industries, they are facing challenges. Okay, so all those cities around the world, this is one of my favorite area of research, all those cities and regions around the world that have benefited from traditional large industries. Industries are now facing challenges. One example, or we have multiple examples, but one of the example I can share with you is about Detroit. Detroit, once it was auto capital of the world, once auto capital of the world, because this region, you can read about Detroit, all the big three companies of the US, like Chrysler, GM, and Ford, has their manufacturing facilities in Detroit. And all, where there is a one auto manufacturing plant or assembly plant, you can expect hundreds of suppliers, hundreds, literally thousands of suppliers who are supplying different components and parts to these car manufacturing companies. Conventional, I'm talking about traditional car manufacturing companies. They also locate their facilities, their production, manufacturing plants in the nearby. So imagine when these industries, or you can talk about anchor industries, anchor, I am using word, anchor industries, when anchor industries start declining, then what to do? The future of these cities, the future of these regions. There's a very interesting, we can talk a lot about this. So the role of the leadership is very important here. Role of leadership. Because the economy, this is about economy of a city, depends on these industries. And when there are bigger shifts are happening, the economy, the employment, and all those issues start happening. Even some cities are going bankrupt. Some regions are going bankrupt. Why? Because their inflows that were coming in the form of the taxes are dramatically falling. Okay, so this is very interesting discussions, that part of your SBL learning. So the point here is that agency, then stakeholders analysis and organizational social responsibility. Who are your stakeholders? Your stakeholders are not just your shareholders. Your stakeholders are now a large group of different like stakeholders. This can be suppliers, customers, government, your unions, your bankers, finance providers, your investors, and all the employees, executive management. So all those stakeholders, and how you satisfy all those stakeholders. This is not easy thing today in 2025. Next, number 3, governance scope and approaches. Here you will be learning about the different types of the governance systems. For example, rule-based and principle-based governance systems. Rule-based is in US, okay? After the collapse of Enron. Have you heard about Enron scandal? Enron, one of the biggest companies once. Enron collapsed in 2001. Okay, there was accounting frauds and there were financial frauds. Even one of the largest audit firms at that time, the Arthur Andersen, that was there, okay, was also involved in the Enron scandal. So after the collapse of Enron, the governance systems and governance requirements became very strict in the US to protect shareholders, to protect investors. Because who would lose? Lose stakeholders, shareholders. Protection. Okay. So rule-based was introduced in US, and then the principle-based is in UK. And in the principle-based, not everything is compulsory, because under this principle-based governance system, either you comply with the governance requirements or you have to explain that why are you not complying. So you will be learning here both systems. Next is about reporting to stakeholders. Amazing topic, this reporting to stakeholders. We are, as I told you a little bit earlier, that now stakeholders demand more, demand more, demand more reporting. For example, reporting on sustainability, reporting on the social factors, ESG, for example. There is more and more demand from the companies and business organizations on ESG related reporting. How are they progressing on environmental issues? How are they progressing on social issues? How are they progressing on governance issues? So this is a very interesting area where you will be learning about integrated reporting, GRI, Global Reporting Initiative, sustainability reporting, and all that. Next is about board of directors. Here you will be learning about the different types of the board members, whether they are executive or non-executive. So you will be learning about the role of non-executive directors, their responsibilities, their importance, their independence of the non-executive directors, why they need to be independent. Okay, and then public sector governance. You will be learning here about the importance of having sophisticated governance systems in the public sector. Public sector means you can talk about non-profit. So when it comes to governance, not only profit sector, but non-profit sector also subject to stringent governance requirements. Okay, it is about their how they are using resources, especially, for example, these days, budgeting, their planning, how are they using the resources, what is the impact, what is the output of those use of resources, okay, whether these are government organizations. So this is new area, you can say, new developments are happening in this area, in the public sector governance. The reason, because resources, especially financial resources, are becoming more and more scarce. Those days are gone when government bodies, government officers, government managers have had abundance of budgets. No, 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 no. Those days are gone. Days are gone. Of unlimited resources and no check and balance. Today, even government organizations, now there is a more and more demand for transparency, more and more demand for transparency. How are the resources being used? What is the outcome and output of those resources? So you will be learning here all that. Next is section C, strategy. So what you are going to learn here, concepts of strategy. You are going to learn that what strategy is, the different types of strategies. Then environmental issues, for example, pestle factors, how pestle factors would impact strategy of the organization. For example, if there's a change in like politics, if there's a change in economy, if there's a change in the social, if there's change in technology, if there's change in ecology, if there's a change in law, how all these changes would impact strategy of the organization. So all these developing issues, for example, as I gave you example of trade wars, tariffs, ESG, water crisis, climate crisis, okay, climate crisis. Do you know the wildfires which are going right now in Los Angeles, California? Have you heard about that? Wildfires? LA fires. You might have heard in the news what is happening. Like billions and billions of losses, properties, business organizations. Imagine these fires that is said to be triggered by the climate change, because this is a winter season. This is not the fire season. This is a winter, peak winter. And if these fires have triggered in winter, you can expect the impact, because there are droughts going on in the world. Droughts, there are like floods. In some parts of the world, there are floods, then there are droughts, and all these climate conditions have changed. And how these climate conditions are impacting strategy of the organization, impact on strategy. So as I told you earlier, that business organizations are under pressure. Organizations are under pressure. That how are you doing your business in responsible way? Understand? So we'll be learning all this here. Next, competitive forces, like how to analyze the competition, or how a competition or the competitive environment affect strategy of the organization. Okay, for example, as I told you that why I'm so excited about this new business landscape, because the nature of competition has changed. Nature of competition has changed. Now there are new players. Now there are new factors which are impacting the competitive landscape. As I gave you example, like Chinese companies. Chinese companies, they have become market leader in so many industries today. Do you know about that? Chinese market leaders. The reason? Because they have disrupted so many different types of industries. Few of those industries I am writing here. For example, you may know they have become leader in EVs. They have become leader in batteries manufacturing. So today, the world largest battery manufacturers, whether that is a CATL or whether that is a BYD, they are the Chinese companies. Number three, they have become leader in solar power or solar energy. Okay, how they have become the leader like solar panels, and they have disrupted, yes, literally they have disrupted so many industries. So that will be very interesting to know that how the competitive models and the competitive landscape is changing and who are the new winners and losers. So losers, for example, the Volkswagen is a loser. The Volkswagen, as I told you, that Volkswagen was the biggest challenge with Volkswagen was that Volkswagen was so big to fail. Have you heard about famous quote? Too big to fail. Have you heard this one? Hello? Have you heard this quote? What do you think? What is the problem with this too big to fail? What can be the issues? Anyone, you are welcome to share your thoughts. Hello? Too big to fail. What might be reason? Because when a business is too big, it would be difficult to change rapidly. We use word called agility, agile or agility. When something is too big, it might be difficult for them to change quickly. And this happens with Volkswagen, one of the reasons. Okay, so the point here is that in strategy section, you will be learning about competitive forces, that how the winners and losers in competition landscape, they compete, and how they develop new strategies, how they win, how they lose, how they transform. And then number four, the internal resources, capabilities, competencies of an organization. So here you will be learning about that how a business needs to develop its resources. It needs to develop its competencies, its capabilities in order to compete in 2025. And the last one, strategic choices, how to make strategic choices. Okay, for example, strategic choices like the example as we discussed earlier, the merger, the mega merger of Honda, Mitsubishi, and Nissan. That is our choice. What is the reason? Because Mitsubishi, Honda is fine, Honda is okay, but Mitsubishi and Nissan, they are really struggling. So what was the best for them? They decided to merge. Okay, so now they will have more knowledge, experience, resources, capabilities, competencies, and they will be able, whether they are going into EV, this will be easier for them to go into EV, go into other different technologies to compete in the auto industry. So this is just one example of strategic choices. You will be learning a lot of different types of decisions, that how companies make their choices in order to survive, in order to succeed, and in order to grow. Survive, succeed, grow. Survive, succeed, grow. Here, so the conventional wisdom is changing. Okay, as a part of this discussion, I can share with you that how conventional wisdom, conventional theories are changing. How it is changing. Those who were competitors in the past, they are becoming more collaborators. Okay, so a new theory of collaboration. Collaboration to sustain, not to compete. That's why in Europe, in Asia, in America, in like other parts of the world, the bigger companies, they are developing their collaborations, okay, to sustain. Whether you talk about Nestle, for example, whether you talk about like Nestle is one of the biggest companies in the different food and other different sectors. Whether you talk about Unilever, whether you talk about the like clothing companies, H&M, okay, these companies are developing new collaborators. The reason, because they are under pressure, because factors, success factors have changed. And questions have changed also. Previously, even, yeah, this not just only, but energy companies as well. Energy companies, for example, you can talk about Shell, you can talk about like British Petroleum, BP, and similarly, they are investing in new technologies. They are investing in green technologies. They are investing in new resources. The reason, as I told you, that success factors have changed. Those favorable conditions have changed. Got it? Okay, so this is about how things are changing. Okay, I think we can take a short break here. 10 minutes break, I guess, because you might be waiting for this. 10 minutes break, and after break, we'll be back with our complete discussion of the remaining syllabus topics. And then we will also have a look at the some exam paper pattern as well, at how SBL paper is tested. So stay tuned. See you after 10 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. So we are now discussing about the section D, risk management. Which topics you can expect? Identification, assessment, and measurement of risk. Risk. Risk is an important part of strategy of the organization. Okay, we have discussed earlier so many different types of incidents, issues, and like risks related to strategy of the organization. For example, we have discussed about technology, we have discussed about the sustainability issues. We have talked about the other risks related to customers, reputation. We have talked about finance. Risk is part of the strategy. So that is important, that how an organization identify, assess, and measure different types of risk. These are three things. One is called identification. SBL question can ask you that identify the key risks facing the organization. Yes, you can expect a question asking this. Then another question may ask you assess. Okay, when you are asked assess a risk, there are two things that you need to identify when it comes to risk assessment. These are, number one, the extent of risk. Or in other words, you can say impact. Impact of risk. If this risk materializes, then how it may impact strategy of the organization. Okay, so this is called impact of the risk. Number two is called the likelihood of the risk. Likelihood. For example, what are the chances? What is the probability of happening of this risk? So these are the two factors which we consider as a part of risk assessment. Okay, by the way, thanks to new technologies, thanks to the AI and the data, now data and AI is being widely used in the risk assessment. And SBL questions can link both technology, data, AI, and risk assessment. Yes, you can expect. That's why you need to prepare for this. Next, number two is about managing, monitoring, and mitigating risk. So not only you are required to identify, assess, and measure risks, but also you have to manage, you have to monitor, and you have to report and mitigate risk as well. Yes, SBL questions can ask you. SBL questions can ask you manage. So when it comes to risk management, there are different frameworks. There are different frameworks that can help you in the risk management. Monitoring is part of the overall risk process. And mitigating, yes, taking actions to mitigate the impact of the risk. There's a question. Yes, Nifas, thank you very much for being part. Okay. All right. Yes, recordings will be available. So risk is center in the strategy of the organization. Yes, center in the strategy of the organization. Whenever an organization is planning for new strategy, or it is restructuring, or it is reviewing existing strategy, there is a risk. Risk is there. Whether an organization review existing strategy or design new one. Risk is at the core, risk is at the heart. All right, next is section E, cloud technology and data analytics. So you can see the title of this section is all about technology. So what you can expect from this, you will be learning here about the developments in cloud technology, mobile technologies, and smart technologies. What are smart technologies? For example, when we talk about smart technologies, they are using the connected devices, for example, connected devices, and how those devices share data, and how technologies using that data, make smart decisions using algorithms. So this is about making smart decisions. Technology is taking smart decisions. Technology is offering recommendations. Technology is helping us looking for different options. Technology is advancing, advancing, advancing. So how all this is happening? Because of many things. And one of that technology is called, this is IoT, Internet of Things, or you might have heard about IoT, Industrial Internet of Things, like robots, for example. Robots in an assembly plant or robots in an industrial scale, how they interact with each other. For example, you might have seen in the Amazon warehouses where there are thousands of robots are interacting with each other. How those thousands of robots interact with each other. How is this possible? So they are making decisions. Number two, big data and data analytics. Now we are living in the era of big data, okay? And this data is something we can say that unprecedented developments in the big data and the whole human history. If you look at, we have never had this level of the data that we have today, okay? Where all this data is coming from. This data is coming from like the connected devices, smart devices, understand? Connected devices, smart devices, and all these developments in the area of, for example, our smartphones. Whenever we log in into any social media app, for example. So do you know how much traces, how much data we leave behind? When we visit a website, how much data we leave behind? When we purchase online ticket. Online booking, for example, we have done online booking or online purchase. How much data we have left behind? There is a lot of data. Understand? So companies, this was not the situation before. If we go back 10, 15, 20 years, this was for, and yes, one more thing, like modern cars. I'm just giving you one more example, like modern cars, for example, Tesla. Do you know how Tesla collects data? How many sensors are installed inside the Tesla? And how those sensors collect so much data about road conditions, about weather, about the different, how the different car components are working, and then the behavior, driver behavior as well. Driver behavior is determined using that data. And do you know, using this behavior data, Tesla would determine the insurance premium. Can you believe? Insurance premium, and yes, now auto companies are also sharing this data with the insurance companies as well. Okay, and insurance companies use this data in determining insurance premium and all that. So for example, in case of any accident, let's say, now it is very easy for them to determine who was at fault. Okay, find the fault. So this is just a few examples I have shared with you. Big data is being used in education industry. Big data is used now in the health sector. Big data is used in the transport sector. Big data is used now in the education sector, and a lot of other, even the social services, the big data is now being used. Okay, I'm not, even Microsoft, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, all these apps, TikTok, YouTube, they are using data. Netflix, Spotify, all these technology companies, they are using data to develop their new products, new services, new features, new values, new additions, and all that sort of things. So we are in a new world that was never been before in non-human history. I'm talking about non-human. Okay, next. So all this you are going to learn here. And by the way, strategy and technology. When we talk about now strategy, technology is at the core. And when we talk about technology, strategy is there. So technology and strategy both now go hand in hand. Whether that is about investing in new web technology, or whether that is about investing in new AI systems, or whether that is about investing in new processes, all these are about strategy and technology and data. Strategy, technology, and data. Okay, next, machine learning, AI, and robotics. All these sort of discussions go together. Machine learning means your algorithms are learning, your models are learning, okay? Your robots are learning, your AI is being trained using the different technologies. So when machine is learning, machine capabilities are improving, machine capabilities are increasing. Machines can make decisions. One example is like self-drive cars. How self-drive cars work? Car is a machine, okay? And how it can drive itself, because it learns from the data. It is trained using all the data, okay? And there are different types of machine learning, by the way. We will be discussing all these different types of machine learning, okay? So in different scenarios, we can use this one, whether that's autonomous vehicles, or you can talk about the, for example, even machine learning is also being used in the cybersecurity as well. This is machine learning that will learn that, hey, if someone has incorrectly entered the password 3 times, then now you have to wait for 40 minutes or 50 minutes or 1 hour to try password again. This is machine learning. Machine has learned, understand? And this is all about AI and robotics. Next, e-business and value chain. Here, we will be learning about that, how the different technologies are being used and adapted by business organizations using to improve their operations. So value chain, when we talk about value chain, this is about the different activities performed by the organization. These are about supply chain. So how the e-business mean electronic business capabilities are being used by companies in their supply chains, whether these are the use of AI, whether these are use of machine learning, whether these are use of data in their supply chains, and whether this is about sharing documents, sharing information, sharing data. All this is how we can use. Very interesting. You will be learning here. And then the last topic is about information system controls. Of course, when we are relying so much on technology, when we are investing so much on information systems, and when we are collecting so much data, of course, now companies are becoming more vulnerable to the cyber security threats and cyber issues as well. And you would be amazed that these are not just profit or commercial organization. You would be amazed. Even non-profit organizations are also becoming the target for cyber security or the cyber crimes. For example, like government hospitals, government government energy or the public energy infrastructure, public transport infrastructure. Okay, because we are living in an era where we are connected. We can book through apps. We can make payments through apps. We are using more and more fintech. And then think of buses, trains, and all these transport systems are connected with all cloud and using technology. So becoming more and more vulnerable to these disruptions, cyber disruptions. Do you know the few months back there was a problem in the Microsoft Cloud that was caused by the, I think, one of the supplier name, what was the name of that issue, where Microsoft all services got disrupted all around the world, and many flights were canceled, many trains were canceled, many transport systems got like buses and all that, finance banks, ATMs were not working, credit cards were not working, online booking systems were not working. I think that was CrowdStrike. You know about that? Hello? Have you heard about this CrowdStrike issue? Anyone? So increasingly, when we are relying on technology, on the other side, we need to, risks are increasing. So risk strategy is part of the technology strategy now for the organizations. I hope you have understood, and this all is part of the SBL discussions. Next, section F is about audit and controls. So what you can expect here? You can expect like management and internal control systems. Yes. When we talk about risk management, of course, risk management is about having sophisticated internal control systems. So SBL questions can ask you to review existing controls, their weaknesses, identify weaknesses, and then assess impact, and recommend suitable controls or actions. So you can expect, and this type of question has been set in the past papers as well. Okay. So this is about internal control system. So you will be learning about COSO, C-O-S-O, COSO framework for internal control system. Next, number 2 is about audit and compliance. So here you will be learning about reporting. You will be learning about audit of sustainability reports, You will be learning about the independence of the external auditor. You will be learning about the content of external auditor report, and all these topics you will be learning here. Number 3 is about internal control and management reporting. So here you will be learning about the CEO report or the executive report or the board report on internal controls, report on internal controls. You know about this report as a part of the annual report of the organization is very important, because here the board has to take the responsibility that they have done their best to implement the best risk management practices, and they have tried their best, or they have done their best to introduce and implement strong internal control systems to make sure that the operations of the organization are smooth. The reason, because as I told you, that all these topics are interlinked and interconnected with each other. For example, where there is a risk, need to have internal control systems. What if these internal control systems are weak? What if internal control systems are weak? What would happen? This would lead to operations disruption. It would disrupt operations of the organization, because although the nature of the risk may change, it can be strategic or it can be operational. And strategic risks are more bigger risks, because strategic risk would affect the organization overall, its position. Understand? So if its operations are disrupted, what would happen? You can think bigger. You can think bigger. For example, if there was weak cyber controls, as a result, for example, there was cyber attack, and as a result of the cyber attack, the whole operations, whole processes, whole systems have been affected. So this would affect the activity. And if this is affected, you can expect so many issues in related to performance, in terms of revenue, in terms of cost, in terms of expenses, in terms of reputation, in terms of reliability, in terms of trust, and a lot of other problems. Okay. Section G is about finance in planning and decision making. So what you can expect? First of all, you can expect the topics on finance transformation. So here, as I told you, that fintech, for example, financial technologies, that how the new technologies, new tech is transforming the finance function. Okay. Whether that is centralized finance, whether that is online, cloud, and then now use of AI in finance. So all these new technologies are changing the finance function. For example, I can give you a few examples, like mobile money. How mobile money or mobile pay has transformed developing communities or developing countries. For example, in Tanzania, let's say, okay, I can give you examples from few African countries like East Africa, where Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. I got an opportunity to work on a few projects. So you will be amazed that how the mobile money, mobile pay has transformed small shops, small retailers, how it has transformed hawkers, how it has transformed the cab drivers, how even if you are on the beach side and you want to have a coconut drink, for example, and you don't have the cash, no problem. You can simply transfer via your mobile pay. Okay, so not only this has transformed these small retailers, those who don't have conventional bank accounts. These people called unbanked. They were unbanked, but also it has transformed energy sector in East Africa. It has transformed transport sector in East Africa. It has transformed education and health industry. It has transformed literally farmers and agriculture in East Africa. So these are all blessings of this finance transformation, because when technology and finance merge with each other, we can expect bigger revolutions. And this is just beginning. Finance, technology in finance. Okay, very interesting. We will be definitely discussing in our next classes examples from these, but in the SBL context, you need to prepare and develop. Next, number 2, financial analysis and decision making, that how the different types of ratio analysis, or how the different types of NPV analysis, okay, capital investment appraisal, and all these different types of techniques we use in the financial decision making. You need to have a revision of all those. And then the cost and management accounting. For example, you can think of budgeting. You can think of variance analysis. But keep in mind that these are not conventional things. You will not be asked to prepare a budget because you are having SBL paper, and prepare a budget is just matter of earlier papers. Variance analysis, you would not be asked to prepare a variance analysis. Rather, you would be given already developed variance analysis. Okay, make or buy decisions, or relevant costing. So you can expect that how these topics would be tested. As I told you, that don't expect that you will be asked to do this. Rather, you will be tested at the higher level. For example, you can be given already NPV analysis, and there could be few mistakes in the NPV analysis, and you are asked to identify those mistakes because you are the expert, you are the specialist, you are the specialist, you are the specialist, and diagnose mistakes because you are the specialist. Got it? Last area is about section H, enabling success and change management. So you will be learning here about organizational structure, how to structure the organization in 2025. 2025, just I'm using as a reference, but how to structure in new strategy. For example, like gave you example of Honda, Nissan, and Mitsubishi merger. Mitsubishi. So this is a new strategy for these companies, how they are going to structure, because their existing structures would not work. You can note it down, one very interesting quote, that change in strategy requires change in structure of the organization. So as we are going through a shift in the structures, a shift in the strategies, whether that is about sustainable growth or whether that is technology adaptation, okay, we are going through new structures. And when we are going through new structures, we are having new strategies. And by the way, don't forget that it is structure that follows strategy, not strategy follows structure. Okay, remember, this is structure that follow strategy. Okay, got it. Next, you will be learning about disruptive technologies. I already have discussed a little bit about disruptive technologies, that how different new technologies are emerging and how these new technologies are changing the structure and strategies of the organization. Next is about talent management. So here you will be learning about the importance of talent in new strategy. As I told you that new strategies requires new structures. So you need new people, okay? Existing skills may not help you. So you need new skills, new roles, okay? New skills are required. For example, as I told you that being finance professional, now data analytics is not a option. It is mandatory now. Okay. So talent management is very important part of the new strategy of the organization. Number 4 is about enabling success, performance excellence, like how to become the best, how to become the best in class in any industry. Okay, so there is a model that you will be learning about in this area, like performance excellence, like what are the world-class organizations, what are their features, what are their traits, and how they can perform. Okay, so we are talking about that importance of structure of the organization and strategy. You can expect SBL questions, and in the past papers, there are many questions on this area about change in the structure and like how to structure the organization, or even a question may ask you, review existing structure of the organization, or even a question may ask you that review the effectiveness of existing structure in the new strategy. As I told you, that when there is a change in strategy, the organization would need new structure because existing structure may not helpful. Existing structure may not be supportive. Same case with the talent management. When organizations go for new strategy, existing skills may not be helpful. Let me give you one example. Volkswagen. Volkswagen tried to, when there was, have you heard about Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal? Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal. Has anyone heard about this? Hello? Hello, Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal. No, no one has heard, no problem. Volkswagen installed a software in its many models, even Audi, because Audi is also made by Volkswagen. Many of the models that were made, I think, between 2010 till 2015 and even earlier 2010. So what was the function of that software? That was a cheating software. So when the environmental agencies of US and other countries, they try to test Volkswagen cars, there is a certain test that every car should not have emissions beyond a certain level. So when these cars were tested by the regulators, okay, there was a cheating software installed, okay, cheating the regulators. So that software tried to show lower emissions than the criteria or than the threshold. So what happened? This was used by Volkswagen to market its cars as well. Marketing that our cars are more environment friendly. But actual situation was actually there were more emissions. There was more pollution. There was more emission than shown by the software. Or even those emissions were beyond that threshold as well. So ultimately, Volkswagen was caught in all this. And can you guess how much Volkswagen has paid in terms of penalties? Can you please check? Go online and check the Volkswagen payment of its Dieselgate scandal. Can you please quickly check? Penalties and etc. How much it has paid? How much it has paid? Can you please quickly check? As a result of Dieselgate scandal. How much Volkswagen has paid? Oh, my dear. It is above 35 billion euros. It is beyond. Some analysts say that it should be 40, 45, or even 50 billion euros. So after this, what happened? CEO was fired, board was removed, new board was appointed, chairman and the new CEO launched a new strategy for Volkswagen that till 2025, we are going to become a leader in EV. But in 2025, the situation is that Volkswagen is falling like this. Okay? How new strategy failed? New strategy by new CEO failed. Why? How Volkswagen new strategy by new CEO failed? So that is an interesting story. The point here is that, as I told you, one of the reasons why Volkswagen cannot compete with Tesla and BYD and other EV makers, because of the talent, because of the technologies, because of the, okay, I can put a few words for you. Lack new talent, because it has skills in making traditional engines cars, but it does not have skills in making great electric cars. So lack of new talent, lack of skills, lack of capabilities. Although I'm not mentioning about resources because it can have resources. Yes, it has a lack of technologies, lack of new technologies required, okay, in making great EVs. So that's why this company not able to compete with Tesla. And do you know that today the value of Tesla is bigger than the combined value of Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, and all the American car makers, Ford, GM. This is an amazing story. Tesla value is bigger than some of Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, Ford, GM, Chrysler. Okay, I hope you have got all this understanding, importance of strategy, strategy shift, leadership, all these topics we can discuss in the case of Volkswagen. Yes, we can talk about talent, technologies, leadership, role of the executive management board, governance. Every topic of SBL can be discussed in the case of every topic of SBL can be applied to Volkswagen case. Okay, and this is how SBL questions are set. Okay, my dear. And then next topic, number 5, is about managing strategic change. I have discussed already about this. Here, you will be learning about multiple models of strategic change, like how to introduce change, what are the stages of change, what factors to consider before change, how to align people, how to align technologies, how to align organization in the change process. So very interesting. You will be learning about the different models. And the last topic is about leading and managing projects. So this topic is about project management. Here, you will be learning about the different, this is not very detailed, but there are a few important things that you need to know about the projects. So this is SBL. So you can expect a project of strategy. You can expect a project of technology. You can expect a project of process change. There are different types of projects that you can expect. All right. And then here are professional skills. There are 5 skills tested in the SBL paper and 20 marks. There will be equal marks for all these. Okay. 20 marks for the skills. So these skills are analysis. Analysis consists of 3 components. When it comes to analysis, it's about investigate existing situation. You need to inquire about the situation, like, for example, like Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal. So if you are asked to analyze the Volkswagen case, you need to investigate. You need to investigate what are the reasons, what are the issues, what can be the root cause of this problem. So this requires more in journalist mindset. Yes, I use word journalist mindset. When you are analyzing something, you are inquiring something, you need to be more investigative mindset. Okay, so consider mean you need to consider all the relevant data, all the relevant information you need to consider in your analysis. So this is about analysis. Next is about evaluation. When it comes to evaluation, there are 3 components of evaluation. You need to assess the situation. What is this? What is it about? You need to estimate the impact of the situation, because when you are asked evaluate, you need to look at the broader picture about the future, about advantage, about disadvantage, about pros and cons. You need to look for all those. So you need to have to estimate using the data, and you need to appraise as well. Appraise existing information, existing data, existing facts, existing feedback, opinions, findings, all that you have to appraise. And you need to find out what are the costs, what are the risks, what are the benefits, what are the opportunities for the organization in this new strategy. Because evaluation is normally asked of new proposed strategy. One example I can share with you. For example, your company, your business is now proposing to board is planning to invest in new material, invest in new R&D facility. Okay, because they want to develop new material. They want to develop new alternative components, because there are issues going on with existing. So you are required to evaluate this proposed option. Okay, so you have to assess, you have to estimate, and you have to appraise. Okay, next one is very interesting, skepticism. Skepticism is normally tested in the case of risk and internal control areas. You need a skeptic mindset. What is a skeptic? Skeptic consists of three components. Number one, probe. Probe means whatever information is provided to you, you need to probe it. You need to go beyond what is told you. This is, by the way, skepticism is a great skill in this era, in era of false and fake news, in era of misinformation. This is very important that we need to have a skeptic mindset because everything that is on the social media is not true. And I hope you know about this, that everything that is being shared on the social media, this can be completely fake, that can be completely lie, false, fabricated, manufactured. There could be a lot. Understand? So that's why before making any opinion, before making decision, before making opinion, before making any decision, before making any action, we need to ask, we need to probe, we need to question about the credibility. We need to question about the authenticity. We need to question about the relevance. We need to question about the accuracy. We need to question about the up to date, and etc. 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 Okay, so we need to ask questions about the data, information. news, opinions, facts which are presented to us. And we need to challenge as well. We need to have our criteria. And we need, within that criteria, we need to put those facts, those data to ask questions. And this is, as I told you, this skill is becoming very important for today. Because organizations are facing these problems. Organizations are facing, you would be amazed that there are like small and large organizations, businesses are facing the reputational issues related to false, fabricated, false news, fake news, or misinformation. This is, by the way, this is a new risk for organizations. This is a new type of risk. So organizations need to have their mechanisms and controls to tackle this problem. Okay, next one is about commercial acumen. What is commercial acumen? Commercial acumen is more about understanding, is about awareness. As I have discussed with you so many different types of examples, situations, and all that, by the way, this is part of your commercial acumen. To develop your knowledge, to develop your know-how, to develop your awareness about the business and economy situation, okay? Because this will help you make better decisions. More you know, more you know, more you know about new things or new ideas, better will be your decision making. Why? The more you know, this will offer you more insights. This will offer you more comparison. This will offer you broad comparison. Okay, and insights. So this will offer you make better choices. This will enable you. So the point is that knowledge, wisdom comes with all this. Wisdom, knowledge, commercial acumen. Okay, so in business, in personal growth, in business growth, all this is important to have the commercial acumen. So this involves insights, this involves awareness, and this involves judgment. Okay. The last one is communication. The fifth skill is communication. So how you communicate your idea, that is important. In times of AI, the role of finance, the role of accountant, has now dramatically changed. Finance professional, you should know how to better communicate, how to better communicate your idea. So for this, there are three components of the communication you need to learn. Inform. That communication is how you inform. Inform about the your idea, how you clearly inform without any confusion, how you inform of your audience, inform your stakeholders, inform your stakeholders. For example, In the past papers of the SBL, there are questions where, for example, like you are asked to write an email on behalf of the CEO, informing all employees about the new change. Inform all senior managers about the new proposed shift in strategy. Inform all the teams about new proposed change in technology. So how will you inform? Whether you make it more confusion or you make it simple. And do you know, during chaos mean like Volkswagen, for example, again, the case of Volkswagen, there is a chaos going on, chaos. So during chaos, how to inform or how to communicate clearly. This is a skill, how to clearly communicate. That is a skill. And then persuade. How you persuade, like convince. Convince or persuade, a big skill today. Not only today, but yesterday as well. If you look at the history, the greatest storytellers, how they have been telling amazing stories to persuade people. So how you tell your story, that's a persuade. With facts, with arguments, with logic, convincing logic, and then clarify. What is clarify? How you make the difficult things simple. Art of making things difficult, things simple. This is a big skill. Okay. And then like adopt appropriate tone, present information, easy way. My dear, these are very interesting. And these 5 skills are not just to pass SBL paper. These 5 skills are part of your job. These 5 skills, you need to train yourself for your leadership position as well. Okay, great leaders can communicate. 5 skills. Okay, apply to your work. Understand? Great leaders communicate clearly. This is one of the skill of great leaders. Okay, my dear, and let's quickly go through the exam structure. By the way, so far I have comprehensively discussed all the syllabus. Is there any question? Do you have any question? I would appreciate if you have any question. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, there's no other questions.
No question, thank you. If there's a question, note it down and feel free to ask me, please. Okay, now let's talk about exam structure. When SBL was introduced first, its pattern was different. It was 4 hours exam. First, I'm talking about in 2018 when SBL was introduced. It was 4 hours exam and all the information was provided within the exam, and then you had to go through all that and then write your, there were multiple tasks, questions, all that. But now, according to the latest pattern of the SBL from 2023, it has been changed again. And now there is introduction of the pre-scene, mean 2 weeks before the paper, 2 weeks before the exam, you will receive the pre-scene information. What is pre-scene information? I can show you, like pre-scene. Pre-scene looks like this. This is the strategic SBL pre-scene from the December, the last paper, last exam, December 24. So in pre-scene, you are provided information or about the, for example, industry in which the organization is operating or competing, industry structure, industry overview, events, collaboration, industry-related risks, okay, technological innovations, events, management, industry, and then company or the business in or organization in the question. So now you are given information about the organization in the question. Okay, background of the organization, its structure, its operations, its information systems, its website extract, its risk register, and performance. So if we look at this, you can see there are like 10 to 12 pages of, there are 10 pages. It can be 11, 12. So basic information are provided about industry, okay, about industry, different industry segments and all that, because every SBL paper is a complete case. So it would be covering different type of industry. Okay, got it? So that's why it would be different. Types of clients and collaboration, cooperation, this, that, technological innovations, events management, in like KPIs, and then company information, company background, company structure, operations, its a supply chain, its processes, information systems, and website extract, and risk register, all that. And then performance. In performance, you can see you are given data about profit, about income, about its tenders, and then about client satisfaction. So you can see the client satisfaction, 3 years data is given. This is a new pattern of the SBL. This is called pre-scene. Okay, this is called pre-scene information, which is provided 2 weeks before the exam. Okay, so you will get this and you will be able to go through this information like many times. So we recommend normally to go through this 7, 8 times, but please don't try to fix questions or spot questions, because the questions which are set are related to further information which are provided within the exam. So this pre-scene you can use for familiarity, for understanding about industry, about market, about competition, about company, about business, its a structure, etc., etc. Okay. Sorry. So then within the exam, each exam will contain 3 tasks. So there will be 3 tasks within the exam, okay, with varying number of marks. For example, one task can have 40, other can have 30, other can have like 40 or 20 or 50. It varies from paper to paper. There's no set format for that. These tasks may require candidates to take on different roles depending on the situation. Number of marks allocated to all these tasks will add up to 100 in total. 80 marks for knowledge and 20 marks for 5 professional skills, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, within the total marks available, there are 20 professional skills marks. Most tasks will contain professional skills marks. All tasks must be completed. And now the new time for the paper is 3 hours and 15 minutes. So if you put into minutes, this is 195 minutes are total. 3 hours and 15 minutes, just like as other strategic professional level exams. But the good thing is that now SBL paper is relatively easier as comparison to previously, because you already know about the business, about the organization, about industry. You will be provided more information, but those information will not be too long. There can be 3 or 4 more exhibits can be provided, and using those information in the exhibits, you will be able to develop your answers. Okay, so SBL paper is now relatively easy. How is the exam to be marked? 80 marks are technical marks, knowledge-based marks, and then professional marks are there for 20 marks, okay? And now let's talk about why students fail in the SBL exam. There are many reasons, but the top reasons are here. Number one, they don't develop a structured approach. Structured approach means when you are writing the answer, you need to follow a structured approach. For example, one example of the structured approach is pastel model. When you are asked to analyze external environment of the organization and its impact on the strategy, you have an amazing model called pastel model. So if you are using the pastel model, you are following a structured approach. Understand? But what if a student not using pastel model, rather writing this and this and this and this, and all those components or the points may not have coherence. What word I'm using? Coherence. Mean whatever you're writing should be linked with each other. It should have coherence. It should have, or an easy word would be, you can say, like link, connected, relevant to each point. Structured approach. Definitely, you will be learning throughout this course, and you will have this opportunity during the practice questions. Number two, a lot of students, unfortunately, they don't write, or they don't type, or they don't respond to what is required. Rather, they would respond what they know, and this is not the professional approach. So of course, if someone is writing, if a student is writing what they know rather than what is required, what to expect from the marker? Another reason is that you need to apply your knowledge to the scenario. So instead of copy and pasting the information from the different parts of this would not work. This would be just a waste of time. Okay. You have to apply it. You have to develop your answer. You have to apply your knowledge. Next reason would be that simple theoretical explanation of model would not work. For example, if you are going to apply Porter 5 forces, or if you are going to apply like pastel effect model, okay, for example. So you start explaining pastel is this, pastel is that, pastel is this. This would not work. You need to apply pastel. So for example, you need to find out if there's a change in the politics, how this would affect strategy of the organization. You have to apply. Simple theoretical explanation would not help. Okay. Next Another reason for those students who fail between 45% and 49% is one of the reasons they lack the depth in their answers. Okay, they lack the depth in the demonstration of their knowledge and their those who fail 45 and 49%, they lack application of skills. Okay, application of skills. And those who fail around 25-30, they lack depth in their knowledge and understanding of the technicality. So both sides you need. You need to keep a balance. And then the last one is about time management. Time management is a skill. This is a skill, and you will need to learn this. And only way to learn is practice, practice, and practice. Okay, all right. So our road to success is few points to remember. Sorry, time is already up, but anyway, you can expect few minutes more in SBL classes. There's no exact formula to pass SBL exam. Start preparing and planning as from day one. If you are going for June exam, June 25 exam, if you think you are going for, or you have the plan for June 25 exam, then be on top of the game from today. The reason? Time flies too fast. Okay. This session, this month, these weeks will pass very quickly. So if you are serious to take, and if you are planning to take exam in June, you need to start planning and working today itself. Okay, my dear. Okay, and how I will add value? There are many ways where I will be helping you. I will train you how to develop a structured approach. That's a skill. I will train you how to read the information, how to read the data, and how to develop like case, data, information, and how to use this in developing your answer, how to connect the dots and develop a clear picture, and develop a clear picture or image or answer. Okay, how to read and analyze the task. What is effective way to respond to improve your writing skills, typing skills, how to structure and draft the answer, which mistakes to avoid, which mistakes are common, and to avoid, and then time management skills. Okay, so our starting is today, 11th Jan, and finish date is 26th, probably April, although we can go 1 week further, no problem, because crash courses start from 2nd of May. There will be total 20 classes. 16 classes are within this time period, and there will be 4 extra classes. I will announce the schedule. I will share the schedule of extra classes later. You can even expect 6 extra classes, but minimum 4 extra classes for practice you can expect. Okay, and here is some reading list that will help you. Although I will keep sharing, like I will share. I have already my own library of, digital. I have developed archive. I will share readings and news articles with you. Okay, multiple. I already have developed and stored and saved and done all this. Okay, my dear. So that is all about this introductory SBL class. I hope this 3 hours session would help you understand about SBL paper, SBL exam, and what you can expect from this course with us, Hamzah Academy, with Matloob Ilahi, and what we will be doing for you. And you have understood my style, my passion, and how much I'm excited to help you not only passing this SBL paper, but also to contribute towards your knowledge, your understanding, and help you towards your career advancement as well. So thank you very much for being part of this class. I really, really appreciate you all for your amazing, your introduction and your all participation. I look forward to you next class, and all the best if you are waiting for your results. Okay, and thank you very much for joining today. I look forward to you. See you next class. Okay, have a wonderful evening, and that's it from our today class. Bye. Thank you. Good night.